ちょっとゆっくりと。
Good afternoon. Before I go into the subject of today's chapel chat, I need to first give you a bit of information about myself. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Sydney Cox. I'm a sophomore here at Cumberland. I started in the spring semester of 2019. When I began classes, I was a criminal justice major, but after some big changes in my life, I'm now targeting biology, pre-med, as my new major. If you know me personally or have seen me around campus, you might assume that because I'm usually well-dressed and drive a nice car that I may come from a high-income family. That assumption would be wrong. As a person who comes from a substantially low-income family, I can assure you that for most of my school-age life, I felt embarrassed because of it. I constantly felt like I didn't have the nice things that other kids in school did. From my first day of elementary school until the last day of senior year, I was on the free and reduced lunch program. Although it was nice to be able to depend on the free meals every day at school, it was embarrassing to be labeled as needy. I grew up in one of the low-income neighborhoods in Murfreesboro and attended an inner-city elementary school. I was bullied all the time, witnessed other kids stealing, fighting, selling drugs, etc., even in elementary school. From an early age, I knew I wanted a better life for myself. When I began classes in middle school at Central Magnet, I attended school with some of the smartest children in the area. These kids typically came from well-off families. I went to school with the sons and daughters of doctors, lawyers, politicians, etc. This was especially difficult for me to deal with because I felt marginalized for the first time in my life. Although I'm a smart, young, white male, my parents' income would limit my ability to participate in extracurricular activities. From a young age, I had to rise above my socioeconomic class and prove myself in a high-stakes environment. Fail 2 classes and you get kicked out of the school, which is highly selective in the first place. More complications arose at home when my father devolved into a mean, raging alcoholic. At times, he would have bursts of rage, lashing out verbally at myself and my siblings. As a developing teenager in this environment, my self-esteem was at the lowest it could ever be. My self-image was non-existent. At times, I felt completely worthless and incompetent both as a student and a son. However, with age and maturity came a sense of pride in realizing what I was doing. I realized that due to the harsh environment I was subjected to at home, the rigorous academic environment I was in, that I had to push myself as hard as I could to succeed. That would be my ticket out. It would allow me to escape my abusive home, away from my father, and succeed on my own as a fully independent adult. My self-motivation was at its absolute highest during these years. I knew that I wanted to do things with my life that my parents couldn't imagine, so I had to provide them for myself. I've worked a job in some capacity since the age of 14. The money I made from working provided me with money to go towards school activities, gas for my car, and anything else extra I wanted in high school. Just days after my 18th birthday, I was finally able to move into an apartment of my own. In the fall of 2016, I began college at MTSU. This was my first real sense of freedom I had ever had. Unfortunately for me, my sense of freedom came at a cost. I was intimidated by college-level classes, and instead of going to tutoring and doing better, I simply stopped going. I was busy hanging out with friends, partying, and not studying. Long story short, I racked up about $5,000 in credit card debt from living above my means and had to drop out of MTSU due to failing nearly all of my classes. In January of 2017, my life hit absolute rock bottom. I was in a severe amount of debt, had no savings, had to drop out of school, and felt like I had wasted my one opportunity to go to college. I began working full-time to pay my bills, pay down my debts, and by March of that year, I'd enlisted in the U.S. Navy. This was my next best option since failing out of college. At least I could use the Navy to make something of my life. In April of 2017, I went to boot camp, but by May, I was being discharged for psychiatric conditions including depression and anxiety. Upon returning from boot camp, I became so depressed and lost that I felt constantly suicidal. I resented myself for throwing away every opportunity that I had gotten since high school. Not long after returning to Tennessee, I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital to get help for my depression. Once I became stabilized, I spent the rest of 2017 and 2018 working as hard as I could to pay off my pile of debt, while at the same time paying all of my bills on time. In the fall of 2018, I began to research the Tennessee Reconnect program. I discovered Cumberland and applied, hoping I would be able to have one more shot at college. After my application was processed, it was initially denied due to my bad transcript from MTSU. I was devastated. However, I decided to appeal the decision and wrote a letter detailing the events that had happened in my life and how I would improve my grades at Cumberland. This was my last shot. Luckily, after a few weeks, my application was accepted and I had officially become a Phoenix. Since the spring of 2019, Cumberland has been a second home for me. The first day I saw the campus, I couldn't wait to start classes. I was finally given a chance to start over. Once I moved to Wilson County and was able to integrate into a new environment, my entire life changed. My own struggles and challenges in life have redefined who I am. They gave me hope for a better future. An additional challenge that we have all faced to some degree or another is the COVID-19 pandemic. Luckily for me, I have not had any loved ones contract the virus. However, I know not everyone has been so lucky. The outbreak of the pandemic has presented a number of challenges in all of our lives, from lost jobs and pay cuts to lives lost unnecessarily. One lesson that the pandemic has taught me is just how fragile life is. It has re-inspired me to constantly be living in the moment and trying not to be worried about the past or the future. In the spring of this year, I was given the opportunity to become a paid tutor here at Cumberland for the Criminal Justice Department. This year alone, I've become a tutor for 3 classes, become self-employed, maintained a high GPA, all while maintaining a full-time course load. As of now, I'm on track to graduate with my associate's degree in December, and I've received a full ride scholarship to Arizona State University for the rest of my bachelor's degree. From all of my challenges that I've faced throughout my life, I've learned a few key lessons to keep in mind. First one, believe in yourself. That is key to anything you do. If you're determined enough, no obstacle in life will stop you. It may slow you down, but only you can allow challenges to stop you from succeeding. Save money whenever possible. Follow your dreams. That is ultimately what will make you happy. And finally, kindness, grace, and humility are some of the best traits to have. Being able to understand people regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, or socioeconomic background will get you far in life. In conclusion, my message for you today is a relatively simple one. If you only remember one topic from this chapel chat, remember this: only you can define who you are. If you had to stand up here today and tell me about you, what would it be? What drives you to be the person you are? If you don't take control of your own future and fight for what is important to you, then who will? Think about those questions, how you would answer them, and how you can better guide yourself through life while accomplishing everything you want to. Thank you.